Ticket closer, you make less than $15,000 a month. You have zero excuse as to why you don't watch this video in full, especially if you clicked on it because you want to get better at high ticket sales. If you're new to the channel, my name's Tristan Steckler. I've been doing high ticket for 4 years now. I've closed millions and I help people just like you take your skill set from where you're at to where you actually want to be. Watch the video in full, take notes, pen and paper, and I promise you if you implement what I teach, you will make more money. Enjoy.
Oh my God, let's go. Let's get it.
Can't believe we haven't done this sooner.
Dude, long overdue.
Anything that you want to talk through before I let them all in?
No, dude, let's just rip it. Let's crush this call.
What I'm thinking is I'll do a little intro just so everybody knows who you are,
Sure.
even though I'm sure most, if not all of my guys know who you are.
Sure.
But I'll do a little like this is how we started dating and this is how we got together. And then we'll just rip this call. It'll
I
be
love
great.
it. Let's do it, bro. I'm ready.
All right, dude. I'm gonna let them all in. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. All the fathoms, approve, approve, approve.
Holy, that's a lot of fathoms.
Welcome in, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Still clicking approve on all the fathoms. I wonder if Zoom has a way for me to not allow 150 fathoms into the Zoom room. How we doing? Happy Thursday.
Good.
Happy Thursday.
Pretty
Sam, you
good.
got my message on Frazier, right?
Yeah, I'm DMing him right now, so I think we're gonna get him on our CEO's calendar probably tomorrow, if not Monday.
Sick. Cool. All right, guys. We're gonna run this a little bit different. I have Itai on. I want to give you guys a little brief intro to who he is if you don't know who he is already. Itai is my first one-on-one student that I ever had. And that was what, 3 years ago? 2.5 years
Yeah.
ago?
Like 2.5 years ago, yeah.
2.5 years ago. We started working together because he was working for a e-commerce offer. It was like a drop shipping, make money online offer. And he was a setter manager for how long, Itai?
Like a year.
A year, you were ripping what, like 10, 12K a month as a setter manager?
Yes, like 5Ks, 7Ks, 10Ks here and there. Um, yeah, it was awful.
So he's doing that, and you're making really good money for a setter. And they came to you and they said, hey, just so you know, we don't really need your position anymore because of AI or whatever they said. And then they told you you can either get demoted from setter manager to just a regular setter, or you can get into closing. So Itai
Yeah.
chose to get into closing, started taking closing calls. And as many of you understand, closing and setting are two completely different games, two completely different
Yep.
skills.
Yep.
And he started getting his teeth kicked in to the point where he was on performance review and they gave him an ultimatum like, hey, if you don't improve your numbers, then we're going to have to let you go. So Itai comes to me, and I was managing an offer at the time and taking closing calls, and I decided that I wanted to work with him. And so I think we were doing like $25 a call, and we would do call reviews literally every single day.
Yep.
5 days a week, an hour every single day. I remember some of the earlier calls, you were saying some super out-of-pocket stuff, but most people are in that position, you know? Like a lot of the times people don't teach sales the right way. It's a lot of tactics and frameworks and gimmicks, and it doesn't work. And it's not authentic. It's not genuine. It's very selfish. So we started training together for what, 2, 3 months about,
Yeah, a bit longer, yeah.
and you got off performance review.
Mm-hmm.
You started growing and developing your skill, had a couple really good months, and then took those earnings and started investing into some of the best sales trainers in this entire industry. And I can say, without a doubt, Itai is the best closer that I've ever worked with, ever, hands down. Quickest to implement, most confidence, most certainty in himself, is invested the most amount of money into his skill, and he's fantastic. So I wanted to bring him on here to do a call review with me. It's like a father and son moment for us. And we're just going to rip this call, and everybody's going to get a ton of value, and we're all going to be fully present and D&D our notifications, and we're going to learn a lot, and we're going to make a lot of money. Does that
Let's
sound
go.
good? All right.
Let's do it. Full circle moment right here.
So, Braden, I'm gonna pull up the call that you wanted to review. Do you have it by chance? Can you drop it in the Zoom chat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sick. All right. So just how we do things, guys. If you have any like super pertinent questions while we're reviewing, you can just raise your hand. But we're going to give as much value as we can regarding just what we're seeing on this call. And you'll learn a lot. A lot of your questions that you have will be answered while we're reviewing the call. So let's get
Get
into
it
it.
done.
Can you give us a little bit of context, Braden,
Yeah,
on this call?
for sure. So this guy's name is Ethan. This is for a TikTok shop offer. And my opinion, call pretty much, went pretty well as far as, I think we were able to identify the reason that he hasn't been able to get where he wanted to be. And pretty much it ended on just like lack of commitment and not being able to handle the fear objection. I think it's a pretty lengthy objection handling process, but I definitely want to understand maybe where I went wrong or didn't capitalize on during the discovery that made me lead to such a lengthy process in the end. But yeah, I think it was just unsolved commitment and fear objection.
Cool. All right. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Everyone lock in.
Yeah. D&D those notifications, pen and paper. Let's train.
I just got back from the gym. Yeah, pretty chill day. How's things with you?
Not bad, man. I can't complain, chilling as well. The week's going good so far.
Yeah, nice. Any nice plans on the weekend or anything?
Um, you know, I'm not doing much to be real with you. Just, working, trying to make as much money as possible.
That's the plan, isn't it? That's what I want to do.
Absolutely. So, yeah, man. Where are you calling from?
England, but I'm originally from South Africa, so I moved here about 5 years or so ago with my family.
England, like the UK?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, dude. So, yeah, let's dive right into this then. Why we do these calls is just to get a good understanding of, what your goals are with this. We've helped a lot of people, obviously, but at the same time, there are some people in which we can't necessarily help. I hope you can understand that. But
Of course, yeah.
on the conversation we have today, if I'm confident we could actually help you, I'll walk you through exactly what we do, how everything works, and what the process looks like. But if not, I like to think I'm a pretty blunt and honest dude. So no matter what, I'll still try and point you in the best direction possible.
Cool. Sounds good.
Sound good?
Yeah, amazing.
Awesome. So, what's the biggest reason you're looking to make money with TikTok Shop right now?
Honestly, I have a job at the moment. But it's sort of like I'm kind of casual. I'm not full time part time or anything. So like hours at the moment, I basically just don't have many. And I was kind of always like I always wanted to make money online. And it's something that I heard about recently. I've kind of like ideally I want to make as much as I can just to live a bit more kind of like freely. Like I'm always looking at like I try to save as much as I can, and I'm always looking at the price of things and like when it comes to like holidays and stuff like that, it's a bit tough. So I kind of have a bit more just kind of like financial freedom. Ideally get to the stage where like I almost want to, I know maybe not just from TikTok Shop for like later on, but like I really want to help out my parents for everything they've done for me. Ideally, they not necessarily hate their jobs, but they
Okay, pause.
they
All right, so we got a few good things from here, yeah? First thing I noticed is he said he's always been looking for ways to create money for himself, yeah? So in my mind, what is always? How long is always? That can give us the time frame right then and there, which gives us already a lot of leverage for the rest of the call. And he also said he wants financial freedom. That's a woo-woo word, right? Everybody uses that word. What does financial freedom mean to him? Yeah, now he's getting into it. He said he wants to help his parents. He wants to stop looking at the price of things, right? How long has that been going on for? What goes through his mind when he has to, check his bank account before he buys something? Things like that. That's just like key data that we want to collect.
One thing that I've noticed as well with people who are in the UK is culturally, a lot of them are not, they're very risk averse and they're not used to this online space and they don't believe that it's possible. A lot of them. They don't spend a lot of money on coaching programs or investing in their skill. They typically just do what everyone else around them is doing. And it's a culture of like binge drinking. No one has really big goals or aspirations. Everyone kind of just escapes reality with alcohol or just distracting themselves. That's what I've seen in large part with most people from the UK. So just be aware of that. Like culturally, there are some things that you're going to have to unpack with him and some limiting beliefs that he's gain from his parents for the most part. He's just following in their footsteps. Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah. Looks like all the UK folks agree in the chat.
Yeah, it's true, man. Let's keep going.
Some days are a lot tougher than others, you know, so I want to help them out. But just, yeah, have a bit more sort of financial freedom, I guess.
Okay. I mean, like, what do you mean by that? Why do you feel like you don't have financial freedom at the current moment?
So you always want to unpack somewhat of what Itai is talking about, buzzwords. What is financial freedom to him? Because when we say like, why do you feel like you don't have financial freedom right now? You're making an assumption that you understand what he means by financial freedom, which we don't want to do. We don't want to transition without clarity. When you transition without clarity, that's where their ego just persists. And a lot of the people from the UK have an ego naturally. It's just like the culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything you'd add, Itai?
No, all good. Let's keep going.
Just a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, I'm not earning a lot of money. Like, I don't have many expenses like rent and stuff like that. But when it comes to maybe living life a bit more, like I always have to look at the price tag of everything, even like the daily. Like I'm doing my food shop and stuff like that, and I'm like looking at the cheapest way to like save money here and there and stuff like that. And then some more
with your parents.
Yeah,
How old?
I'm 21.
21. Okay, gotcha.
You see how he uses his age to rationalize why he's still living with his parents?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there are many 21-year-olds who don't live with their parents.
Mhm.
What makes them different than this guy?
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. So, I mean, like for you, like what is the significance of having more money and freedom at the time?
Like probably just more sort of, I think, saving up, because last year I spent quite a bit when I was doing, because I play football as well, so traveling a bit. I spent quite a bit of money doing like playing abroad and stuff like that. And I've still got some in the savings, but having maybe like a bit more of like a safety net, and ideally like maybe go into like with what I can do with the savings, for example. Like I've already like been interested in the whole kind of like real estate kind of thing. So if it means like maybe having enough money to like buy property and stuff like that later down the line, then yeah, I mean, I like have a girlfriend as well, so having some money so we can put money towards each other for like a house, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just not really making enough money to live like super comfortably, if that makes sense.
What do you do at the moment?
I am a recreational assistant, so it's kind of like a lifeguard, but then we've got like a whole the building's got loads of different sections to it. So there's like the pool side, the gym side, there's like a cafe side and stuff. So I kind of like work through all kind of three of those.
Okay. How much are you making at the moment?
It sort of depends how much I work, because like I'm casual. I sort of pick up shifts when I can, but I'll probably say averagely about like 1,000, like 1,700 to 2,100 pounds a month.
Okay. How's that like getting you by?
Is that enough for him? What I also heard was the traveling, which
Mhm.
is funny.
Yeah. Wants to travel, buy a house, all these things, makes 1K a month. He also said safety net. Why would you need a safety net? What does a safety net mean?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, why are we looking for that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Traveling is also a way of escape for a lot of these people, rather than sit and reflect and identify why he's not where he wants to be. He can just spend money and go somewhere else and escape his current reality. And if it's not traveling, then for a lot of these people, it's like binge eating or just buying stuff.
Yeah.
Because in their brain, they're like, once I have this thing, then I'll feel this way. And then they still have to be the same person who looks in the mirror.
Yeah. He's trying to escape with a Jet2 holiday to Ibiza.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have many expenses besides like my car, you know, petrol when I'm going out and stuff like that. So I've got enough money to like, you know, make it month by month and stuff like that. But
Walk me
it's
through like a day in your life though, where you don't feel like that's enough.
for example,
Okay, but you see how he's kind of rationalizing it once again. So I'm getting a lot of rationalization so far. Well, I'm only 21. That's why I live with my parents. Or I make just enough. So how can we use that to our advantage?
I guess identify like where the lack of urgency has actually got him, and like make him take a look at his environment and question like, is this sufficient for you?
Yeah. Who's he comparing himself to?
Probably his friends.
Yeah.
Look, he's young. He's younger, right? Like he's 21. He has a false perception of reality. He knows 1K a month isn't enough, but him rationalizing that because he's 21 and he lives with his parents, it makes it seem like it's okay.
Mhm.
but you also can't let him justify those rationalizations, because in real life, that's not enough, no matter where you are, no matter where you live.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How
So,
would you call out the justifying?
well, number one, it's like, who are we comparing ourselves to, right? The people that we're around or the people that we want to be? Do the people that we want to be accept 1K a month? Do they accept staying at home because they're young? Or do you feel like they don't let that be a limitation because, well, they know that they're better than that? Yeah. It's like if he's talking about being able to provide, travel with his girlfriend, help his parents, whatever the case is, well, does that align with your justifications? And it doesn't,
Yeah.
right? Show the mirror to his face. That's all you have to do.
And the thing as well, Braden, that you can use to your advantage is you're like the same age as this guy. You're younger than this guy.
Hmm.
So in your own brain, what shifted in your mind that said, I don't want to go the traditional route and go to college and get a degree. I want to start my own business and get into high ticket sales and have freedom. What shifted?
The fear of being average.
So you see how you can use that as leverage in this conversation to challenge the way that this guy thinks?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I would imagine before you took that step, you had all the same limiting beliefs and fears and doubts that any guy would have before taking that step.
Yeah, I mean, it really took sales calls to I kind of identify each one and overcome it like on the call, which obviously you could either choose to do or choose to not do.
This is good.
Boom.
Let's keep going.
For like, so I was in Italy, playing football over there, and that obviously cost quite a bit with like flights, the whole experience and stuff I did. So my dad's
Italy, escape.
quite nice, my parents are quite nice. So they, paid for it, and I'm like slowly paying them back and stuff like that. And that was like 2.5 grand or something like that. And that's sort of quite a bit of money for me to just, oh, like, here you go. Whereas I'd like to just be like, oh, here's 2.5 grand, dad, thanks. I mean, I can sort of pay him back straight away.
So we get leverage now because this guy would rather spend $2,000 to go to Italy for a week or however long he was there than on himself.
I didn't even pick up on that.
You see that though?
Yeah, for sure.
Because
Priority.
if you genuinely care about this guy, you would never allow him to continue thinking that that's the right way to go about it if he actually wants to become the guy who can have the freedom he wants to have.
Yeah. One thing I noticed is like the longer we let them justify, the harder it is to challenge, because us letting them justify it for that long, in their mind, it tells them, I'm saying the right things. I'm saying the correct things because we're not challenging them on it. But as soon as we start challenging them on it, they start to understand like, okay, this is not the right way of thinking. And we keep doing that. At a certain point, they will start to just like fall into your frame, correct themselves, not say things like that, because they know, well, this guy's going to challenge me if I say this. So let me just say the right answer. Let me just say what I should be saying.
Totally.
That's why it's important to pick up on it early.
Yeah, for sure.
Fraser, what did you have?
Yeah, do we know, has he said why he only worked casual hours?
He hasn't
Because
said it yet,
because
but
if you owed your parents money and you're 21 doing nothing, just working casual hours, that's not obviously a good mindset.
yeah, overall complacency. And he doesn't believe in himself, which is fine. I'm glad he's here. But if we don't shift that belief where he's empowered and he recognizes that the only thing in the way of him getting what he wants is himself, that gives us tremendous leverage. And you're living the life that he wants to live, Brayton.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
That type of thing. But obviously that's quite a bit of money. So day to day, I'm not struggling as much, but when I
$2,000 is quite a bit of money. You want to pick up on that because how much longer does he want to hold on to that belief? Because there are many 21-year-olds, yourself included, right? You're 19, right, Braden?
18.
18. Yeah.
Jeez.
So, but
Good for you.
you see the leverage that you have. Joel's the same way. Joel's 19, right? So we can hold on to a belief that every 21-year-old lives with their parents and $2,000 is a lot of money, or we can hold them to the standard of the guy that they want to be. Where at the age of 23, I spent $6,000 on a coaching program. Itai and many other people, same experience. You go down to zero. At the time, I thought that was a ton of money. I'd never heard of somebody spending $6,000 on a coaching program from a guru off the internet.
Mhm.
That was my perspective. But now, after all this time has passed, and all these goals that I set, and all these goals that I achieved, and all this confidence that I built, when I look at a $6,000 invoice, I have a completely different perspective.
Mhm.
So I would have so much conviction to challenge that way of thinking based on my experiences.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think it's just like lack of having the ear. Like I already looking back on it now, these are just a bunch of trigger words that I just missed in real time.
Yeah,
If you just picked up on those words and probed and clarified on what we went over, the conversation would already be in a different place right now.
Mhm.
It wouldn't get to the point where it is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why it's like that's why I say like listening, and Tristan says this all the time too. Like listening is probably like the number one thing that you can do in a conversation that most closers just won't do because they're so caught up in a script or a framework. So be as present as you can possibly be. You know what you need to look out for now. You know what you need to pick up on. So when you do, use it, and the call will go in completely different directions than what you're used to.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Let's keep going.
And I'm sort of, when it's come to the end of the month, and I'm like, oh, like I already spent however much, you know, like around Christmas especially, I was like buying loads of people presents and stuff. I was like, it's getting a bit much now, you know.
Okay. So, like, what would be like enough to make for you each month?
Well, how long has he felt that way?
Hmm.
You know what I just picked up on? When he said the end of the month, he let out like a big sigh. He was like, the end of the month, oof. I would call that out. I would just say, big sigh, huh? Like, even that, you don't even just have to call out their words, just their breathing. Like, just, you know, like even something as little as that is like, yeah, that's heavy. It's pretty heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
How
Wow.
does that sit with you saying that out loud? Yeah. Now you can like slow it down a bit. And he's completely in your frame by that point. So don't
For
just
you to
call
be
it their
able to-
words, call it their breathing. Can go a long way.
Listening is the hardest thing to teach people, which is crazy.
kind of have a better situation, move out of your parents' house, and like feel good about where you're at?
I'd say minimum, maybe not necessarily move out, but definitely live maybe a bit better would be like the absolute minimum, maybe like $3,000 a month, I think, in total.
That's it.
Yeah, that's like not, like I said, not necessarily maybe move out, but it would definitely put me in a better position in terms of like saving the money because I don't have any expenses. But I'd like to my goal is I want to be at $10,000 a month is like
That's the goal.
yeah, that definitely is like I'm living a bit more like comfortable, and I've got like I can maybe not necessarily splash a bit of cash, but like treat like my parents because they've done so much for me, and like you know my girlfriend and stuff like that. But $3,000 I'd probably say is a good sort of starting point where I can like save a bit more type of thing. But $10,000 is definitely like my kind of goal that I want to get to.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, obviously you're not on the call right now because you know you want to make 3K a month, right?
No, that's definitely not like I don't want to be. Oh, yeah, I want to make $3,000 a month for the rest of my life. Absolutely not. That's just you know if that was like a starting point sort of thing. I'd be happy with that.
Like 10K a month change things for you.
How would it?
Yeah.
Massively. I mean, compared to like the money I make now, but I think I'm quite good with saving and money in general. I don't necessarily splash it, but if I was making $10,000 a month and I was doing that consistently for even just a year, you know, that puts me in a much better situation in terms of like if I wanted to move out, for example, like you said, with my girlfriend and stuff like that. So I think $10,000 a month compared to the $2,000 a month I'm on now is massive.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess like what's the interest that, you know, specifically led you to TikTok Shop?
Pause,
Doesn't
pause,
matter.
pause, pause, pause,
Does
pause,
not
pause,
matter.
pause. Let's just like call it spade to spade, guys. Nobody in this call gives two fucks about TikTok Shop. And neither do you, Braden, especially you. Yeah?
Yeah.
TikTok Shop is the vehicle. That is just one way for him to achieve financial freedom. So us asking like why TikTok Shop so that he doesn't say, well, let me ask you first. Why did you ask him that question?
I guess to understand like if he did do anything before this that would lead him to making the final decision to be TikTok Shop. The lack of, I mean, that's not a good question to ask. I guess I should have just asked how long he's even wanted to achieve making $10,000 a month. But
Because
yeah,
guess what? In the first minute of the call, he said he's always been looking for ways. If we understood what always meant and how long always has been, whether that's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it is, that would have already given you the answer where you wouldn't even have to ask that question to then ask another question, to ask another question. You got me? It's like efficiency.
mhm.
And because you already know that, like, let's just get into the limiting beliefs and challenge him. And like why it hasn't happened yet, why it's been this long and he's still in this spot.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
always reaching when we ask that question. What stood out about us? How long you been following us for? Why do you want to get into what we do? You're looking for a sense of control. You want more leverage. You want to be more confident that this guy's bought in and will pay you money.
Mhm.
And it's not calling you out, but what I see is it's laziness across the board when
Yeah.
people do that. And what I was telling one of the sales teams that I run is they kept asking that question, how long you been following us for? And the prospect would say, 2 years. And in their brain, they would say, wow, this lead is nurtured. This is going to be a great conversation. I bet they're going to pay me money at the end of the call. And it doesn't work that way. And I kept saying, like, stop asking that question. Stop asking that question. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot because what about when the guy says, I just found you yesterday? What about then? Are you going to put them in a different category? Are you going to treat the conversation different now that they just found out about us yesterday? Are you going to say, well, they're not nurtured enough. I couldn't pitch them.
It's irrelevant.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind
Like-
of just dug myself a hole with that one.
Whether they found you today, yesterday, 2 years ago, like the problem has existed for much longer than that. Yeah. It's not because they found you, they're on the call. So what does that do for us? Does nothing.
Yeah. And we'll buy into their limitations because at the end of the call, they'll say things like, well, yeah, Braden, I can't move forward on this right now. I just found out about this yesterday. It would be negligent for me to take action. And then you just buy into that belief and you let them go. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What matters most importantly is we get a tangible, concrete goal, and then we identify what's held this guy back in the past from achieving that goal, which is always going to be himself. Always.
Boom.
Fraser, did you have another question?
Yeah. Would you want to dive into the fact of the girlfriend of how does that affect your relationship only earning 1,000 a month?
Eventually. Potentially, depending on how important it is for him.
So recently, I've sort of been looking online. When I spoke to the person before that called me, I kind of did, or like I'm kind of doing, looking a bit more like I did the whole drop shipping thing, as well. I did it like a year ago, and then I like started doing it again a bit more recently, just got loads of spare time with like not working as much and stuff like that. And it's sort of then like I came across, I knew about TikTok Shop. I mean, my mom goes on about it all the time, always buying stuff from there. And I like my girlfriend as well. And I kind of like looked into it a bit more in the YouTube videos, obviously all over my For You page now. And then that's when I came across Josh and everything like that. And it's just sort of out of all the like ways to make money online, it was the one that like stood out to me the most, I guess. Like I said, I tried drop shipping, and yeah, it's like maybe some people it's a bit easy, but I was sort of like struggling a bit with that. And it just seemed like the most sort of legit one as well. That makes sense. That makes sense.
The most legit one. So
That's yeah, there it is.
What does that tell you, Braden?
He
You guys seem like
wants
the
to
most
make
legit
sure
company.
he wants to make sure that the business model is perfect for him before actually getting started with it.
Yeah, he's looking for a guarantee of success.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
does that exist?
not at all.
Itai, did you have a guaranteed path of success when you got in a high ticket?
Absolutely not.
Raise of hands who had a guarantee of success when they got in a high ticket. Doesn't exist. Oh, I saw a hand.
Kick him out. Kick him out. But when people like say like this is the most legit business model or the most legit pathway or whatnot, like they're putting too much responsibility into the vehicle and what it can do for them, as opposed to what they can do for the vehicle, right? If he's stuck with drop shipping or whatever else he looked into, and he's stuck with it, he will be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just externalizing the responsibility onto TikTok Shop, and because he started buying things for his mom and he saw it, like that's the most legit one. But let's just be honest, like that's not it. It's him doubting his own ability to be successful in one of these opportunities. That's all it is. So now it's our job to like call that out, make it known, clarify on it. Yeah.
Eric, what you got?
Yeah, how would you, I guess, address that or help them kind of, start overcoming that? Because I've had that more lately. I feel like a lot of my recent leads, they come across the ad, right, and they're like, oh yeah, this made more sense compared to a lot of the things that I've looked at. This seems like it costs less. There's less risk in it. I feel more confident with this. So how would you go about, I guess, addressing that immediately? And what would be a good example to I guess, just kind of call it out?
Itai, you want to go for it?
Sure. There's a million different ways you can do it.
Mhm.
What I like to do in my calls is also help them realize that other people have found success with any other vehicle that they've looked into. Those people are no different than them. What's the only difference between those people and them, though? Right? Because that's what it is at the end of the day. Any vehicle that you put yourself that's in front of you will work. Whatever's in front of you, and you say, I can make this work, it will work. If you're looking for which one is the least, is most risk averse, the easiest, the most comfortable one, well, you've already shot yourself in the foot. Because guess what? None of it is easy or comfortable, which is also something you need to help them realize. Yeah. Like if it was easy and comfortable and risk averse, like wouldn't everyone be doing it? Wouldn't everyone be successful? So why are we looking for something that doesn't exist?
Yeah. And us holding on to a belief that there is a guaranteed path that would lead to financial freedom and holding on to that and not taking the step in the past, what has that cost us?
Mm-hmm.
Because from what I hear this guy saying, he still feels that $2,000 on a vacation is a lot of money. He's still
Yeah.
living with his parents. He's still
Yeah.
looking at his girlfriend and saying, no, we can't move in together. We can't go out on this nice dinner because I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Right? How much longer does he want to be that guy?
Mm-hmm. Braden, how much is the price point for this?
4K.
Okay, so if 2K is a lot of money to him, how is he going to feel about a 4K investment that he's never made in himself before?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So it's like 2K is a lot of money compared to what? Like in what perspective is he thinking? The version of self that's making 1K a month, living at mommy and daddy's house? Or the version of self that's making 10K a month and, providing and traveling and doing all these great things? Because he wants to buy a house. Well, shit, man, a house is going to be a hell of a lot more than 2K, isn't it?
Absolutely.
All right, so he's living in La La Land right now. Like, we need to bring him back to planet Earth and help him realize like where he's actually at, what world he actually lives in, how his perspective is like skewed. It's false.
Let's keep going on this thing.
Okay, gotcha. So, I mean, how urgent is this really to like get started with this? Is this something that you can, put off for a couple months, or is this more of a situation where you feel like you have to act now
You don't have to ask that question ever again.
Yeah.
and really get involved and kind of nosedive into it? I'll probably say both. Like I've got like some.
Because the wrong type of lead, dude, because he's young, he'll just fall into your frame because he's a kid. But the wrong type of lead is going to be like, well, I don't know, dude. That's why I'm in the call. Can you just tell me what you do already? How much does this
Yeah.
cost? How could he answer that question? Like,
Yeah.
are you willing to put a line in the sand right now and take action now and pay us now? Is what you're actually asking.
Like if he says I'm willing to do this now, like are you just gonna pitch him and price drop?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just 4K.
Yeah.
How'd you like to proceed? So just be aware of that. Like he can't answer that question yet. If he could answer that question, he would have paid you in the DMs prior to the call. There would be no need for a call.
Yeah. Not to assume, but did you ask him this question to see like his level of commitment and level of urgency?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that is like probably the laziest way you can do it. It's like you forcing it out of him. And no matter what answer he gives you, it's still like you can't do anything with it. Yeah, whether he says now or later, it's like now what do you do with that? Yeah. So it's like there's ways to do it without having to ask those like direct questions. It's like asking somebody like, are you willing to take a risk? And they say, yeah. It's like, all right, cool. Like, here's the link, pay. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Or is your spouse aware you're on this call? Can you make this decision without her? Does she trust you? It's the same type of question.
Yeah. Are you the only decision maker? It's like, oh, I just pre-handled partner objection. Nice. No, you didn't.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
So I've got savings and I'm still working every now and again, so I can like get by, if that makes sense. But I'm also like I've been saying to my parents, I was like, I need to like now, it's a new year and stuff like that. I need to sort of start now. I don't want to really put stuff off for months and months when if I start now in a couple of months, I could be making those, 10 grand months sort of thing. So I wouldn't say it's like urgent, but I do.
I know we pause a lot because there's a lot of good stuff here, but it's important. He's been putting stuff off for like how long has he been putting this off for? Yeah, like that's our second opportunity to get a time frame because we didn't catch it the first time when he said always. So now at least he's telling us like he's been putting this off. Well, for how long? Why? I know you mentioned you were looking for the most legit business model. Like, what do you mean by that? What about the other ones? Are they not legit? How come? Right? So this is where we can start like really getting into the limitation here and get to the fear because it's there. Like everybody in this room knows the fear is there. It's about like, do we get to it or not? And when do we get to it? And when we do, what do we do with it?
Mhm.
That's what's really important at this part of the call now.
Yeah, you almost want to bait him into giving you an objection. It's really what you're trying to do.
hmm
Because he's saying, like, I'm paycheck to paycheck, money's tight. I should do something about this now. But if that was his mentality, then he would have done something prior, right? That's why getting leverage on how long has this guy had a goal of making $10,000 a month so he can leave his parents' house? How long has that been a goal for? We haven't got that time frame. That gives you leverage into this conversation. Because then you can ask questions like, well, why hasn't this happened yet? Why hasn't this happened yet? Why haven't we put ourselves in a position with our skill so that we can actually make the money we deserve to make for ourselves, for our girlfriend, for our family? What's been in the way of you doing that? Which is going to be himself. Because they'll all say, you know, it's just too expensive. Like these coaching programs are too expensive, or I didn't know if it would work for me or not, or I thought I could figure it out on my own, or I didn't have the time for it. But this guy makes $1,000 a month. He has all the time in the world. He has every reason under the sun to take the risk, but he doesn't understand that yet.
I would like to sort of get started, or at least find out more, like, as soon as possible, you know?
Like, what are the main things at the moment, like, that you would change about your current situation?
Because you're really sitting on like more of a future paced question of like what would change if you got the skills. But that he can't give you an honest answer to that question because you haven't identified a tangible problem in the way of him
Yeah.
achieving that.
He doesn't know.
Yeah. He's going to give you buzz, fluffy answers to this question. It's like if I looked at you, Braden, I'm like, how does your life change once you become a millionaire? Like, you'll give me some fluffy answers. You're not going to tell me the truth. You're not going to tell me what's behind the curtain,
Yeah.
the real drivers. It's the same idea here. So due to the fact that you haven't dropped his trousers,
No
regarding the
leverage
fact that he
question.
hasn't done anything, he's completely and totally in his own way, his own fears, his own limitations, his own following in his parents' lead, who are probably also not in a good financial position, not living a life where they're on purpose, right? Just going through the motions like most people are. He has no reference point. But until you get into a place where he admits that he's at fault, he didn't take more actions in the past, his fears held him back. Until you have that conversation, that's what drops the mask. You're talking to a mask. You're not talking to the real guy.
Yeah.
So let's get a little bit of ground.
It's too late.
Now, but like I said, as soon as possible. Like, I want to start now, pretty much.
So would you agree that you would have to make some changes pretty fast?
Absolutely.
That's just curiosity, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, I don't want to put it off.
What specific changes would this guy need to make? Changes such as what?
for months and be in another situation where I'm like stuck at work trying to find like another job, or whatever. Like
Okay.
Start now.
I just wanted to be transparent on that.
Yeah, of course.
So what impacts, I guess, have you seen in other areas of your life due to just not having enough money or the time that you're looking for?
Pause.
Def-
Time and money is not the problem. He has the time. He doesn't have the money, but the real reason is why. What we want to help him realize is what is the cost to letting the fear control him. As a result, he doesn't have the time and money. Yeah? Like, what does that cost him? Looking for the most legit way, putting it off for X amount of years, however long it's been. What does that cost you? That is the real problem. The problem isn't that he doesn't have the time or the money. The problem is he let the fear get in his way. As a result, he doesn't have the time and money. It's cause and effect. Yeah? If we label the fear as the villain in the room, as the only thing that's standing in his way of getting to where he wants to be, then that is how like we start to, it's like a collaboration. It's like me and you against the fear. That's what it is. It's not the time and the money.
Definitely when it comes to like maybe a bit more of the like treat, like when it comes to like the sub and stuff like that, there's always like to talk about holidays here and there, stuff, friends and stuff like that as well. Quick come back, go on our phones, laptops, everything like that, make some money, make some.
Earlier you mentioned you wanted to be able to make 10K a month, escape the 9-to-5 life. How long have you actually felt like you've wanted to achieve that?
Okay, that's a good question. Let's see.
Basically towards the beginning of last year, I was away in Prague for 3 months, played football. And that went really well. And then when I came back, I sort of fell back into
It went really well.
like the job that I had before and stuff like that. So straight away, I was like, I can't, I can't, like, I've just been away. I can't come back and do this like for the rest of my life. And I've known it for a while. Then I can't do that. So I'll probably say over, yeah, maybe like coming up on like a year or so now.
So
So a year is what he says, but if we're honest, it's probably
Much
a
longer.
lot longer than that.
Yeah.
Jake, what did you have?
Yeah, just a question. From this, like obviously he's justifying pretty much from every angle. How would, because justifying something I haven't felt 100% comfortable with calling out, like what's the best way to go about doing it with a prospect like this that's just sort of like backing every single answer with a reason why?
We have not directly asked him yet what's been in the way. It's kind of like elephant in the room is this guy's fearful. Did you feel that on the call, Braden, or were you still like
Yeah,
confused?
for sure. I just don't think I did a good job enough at like obviously calling it out and identifying what was the problem too.
The
You know,
common theme across the board, Jake, is we know what to say and we don't say it out of fear that if we did say it, we would lose the deal across the
Yeah.
board. So as a leader, you have to be 100% certain in yourself and confident in yourself that you can trust your own ability to go wherever you want to go in the conversation and be successful.
Yeah.
Because we limit ourselves, because in his brain, he may say, well, this guy hasn't really done anything. He hasn't invested in any programs. I would imagine he's just fearful. That's why. But he doesn't go there because he's fearful that if he goes there, he's not going to know how to respond to the words that come out of his mouth. So he doesn't do it. And he's passive and he waits. And then it just boils up into an avalanche of objections here.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time.
So just say it how you think it then. Just be as like
This guy
authentic
says
as
it's been an
possible.
entire year. An entire year. So even at a year, I'm like, that's 12 months. That's a really long time. What do you
Yeah.
feel has prevented you from learning the right skills over the last year so that you can make that 10K a month, so that you can leave your parents' house, so that you can provide the life for yourself and for your girlfriend that you deserve?
Okay. Would you call out the justification itself and bring it to the top of the conversation and say, like, I noticed that you're justifying things, or would you try and slip it under the radar a bit?
The way you do it is when he says like, you know, I'm making 2,000 pounds, et cetera, it's good enough. You would challenge it there. Good enough.
Yeah.
Compared
Just
to
hold
who?
them to that standard. Okay.
Yeah, compared to who? Who are you comparing yourself to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sooner you start challenging them justifying things, like the sooner they'll stop justifying things.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna, so it's like if you're gonna like play the waiting game and like just wait and wait and wait, well, guess what's gonna keep happening? What you
Yeah.
don't want to happen, and then you have to now go back and challenge that. Well, why make it harder for yourself when it doesn't need to be that way, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a big part of this, Braden. Like overcome your own objections, dude. It's like, so what if he gets mad if you ask a uncomfortable question? So what if he hangs up? So what if he doesn't buy? Well, he didn't buy anyways. So it's like we're either going to wait and shoot ourselves in the foot, or we're just going to do what we need to do, and like you'll be ready for it. Whatever happens, happens. Like detachment, right?
yeah, I agree.
So
Absolutely.
it's like a big part of helping these guys overcome their objections is you overcoming yours.
Mhm.
It's like we're talking about him playing the waiting game and him pushing things off. Ironically, like that's also what you're doing on the call,
100%.
right? It's like you're pushing off the challenging and the uncomfortable questions and the things that make you feel uneasy.
Mhm.
So it's like, who are we to help somebody overcome that if we haven't overcame it ourselves?
I guess the reason that I didn't even call it out sooner is lack of knowledge on which angle to take and how to be able to do it in a confident manner in which it lands. Because, you know, I don't know, maybe just lack of
That's a
preference.
smokescreen though, because you do know. It's not the lack of knowledge, it's the lack of confidence to challenge him and what could happen if you do challenge him.
Yeah.
See that? Like it's all like the whole thing is like a full circle. It's like the prospect tells you it's a lack of knowledge. Well, it's not a lack of knowledge. You would challenge that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to challenge you saying lack of knowledge because we both know that's not what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lack of confidence. Yeah.
How can you know if you don't actually challenge, if you don't actually try? Imagine you did and then it actually worked the way you wanted to. Well, it wouldn't be a lack of knowledge at that point, would it?
No.
Right. So it's like overcome your own fears so that you can help them do it too. Because then you believe it, dude. You will fight for this guy no matter what. don't have to objection handle for an hour either. Nobody likes doing that.
Yeah, he said a lot of things here that we could have pierced on and challenged, but I still haven't have us asked the question of what has he tried in the past and what's prevented him from learning the skills. Because the only reason he would say he can't afford it is because he doesn't have the necessary skills to make that type of money, right? Because what is he even investing into coaching for? It's so that he can make more money, right? I pay you $5,000 or $4,000. You teach me the skills to make 10 grand. Then I have more freedom. That's how that equation works. So if the outcome of our doing is so that we can make more money and have more freedom, we can't use money as the reason why we don't do it. Because it can either be the reason we do it or the reason we don't. It can't be both. So which one is it? Right? Shane.
Yeah, I did want to ask as well. I love how, you get the time span as to how long they've wanted that goals for to have leverage to then to challenge them on. But I wanted to ask because I've noticed in the past, especially when I try to take that frame, sometimes people say to me, maybe a month or, a shorter time span. I'm curious, how do you guys go about challenging that if it's not as long as potentially 6 or more months?
The only reason why that happens is because you're just not listening enough. Like straight up, there's never a time where it's only been a month or however long it's been, even if it is like, all right, that's a long time too. Yeah, like a lot can change in a month. But if you were getting like a very short time frame, it's just from me reviewing a lot of calls, I can tell you it's because you are piercing on the wrong thing.
Mhm.
You are asking the wrong question on a time frame. It's like asking somebody, how long have you been wanting to do TikTok shop for? Oh, well, I just saw it for the last week, so a week. But that's not what it is. That's the wrong time frame question. It's how long have you been wanting to get away from pain? Or how long have you been wanting to achieve goal? That is a much longer time frame. You have a lot more leverage. You have a lot more things to work with and challenge him on. So if you were to get a very, very short answer from that, it's more than likely because you're asking like a surface level time frame question.
Good point. Really good point. Thank you.
No
Yeah,
worries.
how long has he been the guy who's lived with his parents and said, I should be on my own. I should make $10,000 a month or more? Because $10,000 is just a revenue target. We're just talking about he wants more freedom. Money equals freedom. So in his brain, when did he start having this realization that he deserves more freedom? He doesn't want to be living under his parents' roof and following their rules. When did that start? What happened? Because since that point, there have been many times in which he's looked in the mirror and said, I should be in a better position. Yet he's not doing anything about it. He's just doing research. He's just looking into different types of programs that he can join or different skills that he can develop, but there's no action behind it. So I want to get to the root of that, which would be fear that if he takes those actions, he's not going to get to the outcome because he thinks that there's a better path with a higher likelihood of success. Just like the overweight guy looks in the mirror and says, man, I'm overweight. I should be in better shape. And then he looks at all these different diets and he says, well, this diet didn't work for me. This diet didn't work for me. He doesn't understand that every single diet on planet Earth works if you make the diet work. Just like if we go into a gym and we look at all the equipment, and there are fat people, there are people with six packs. It's not the equipment or the gym membership that makes them successful in weight loss. What is it?
Commitment.
Their commitment. Their commitment. So you not being committed to yourself up until this point, what has that cost you? Because what happens if you continue to not commit and pick a direction? What happens then? How much longer do we want to be the guy that says, $2,000 for vacation? I can't afford that. That's too much money. AKA, I can't. How much longer do we want to be the guy that, regardless of what's in front of us, we limit who we can be and what we can achieve? I want to get into that conversation. Michael?
Yeah, quick question. I think we can all agree a lot of this could have been more effective or avoided if there was more context from the start and you probed and clarified, obviously. So I'm curious, Itai and Tristan, what's the thought process you guys have when you're at the very start of the call and you're doing discovery and the prospect is giving you information, but you also want to interject, you want to figure out, how long, for example, they've, wanted to do X or Y or Z or how they feel about something. Do you guys just go for it right away, like no matter what, and get hyper specific, or do you kind of let them speak? Because sometimes I have like a debate in my head where I want them to kind of go on and give me more information. Other
Ah,
times I know I want to interject right away and get more clarity on something broad like financial freedom. So what's
okay.
kind of the thought process behind deciding if you do it or you don't do it?
Okay, easy. So this actually happens a lot more than you think. So just to make sure I understand, yeah? Like they're giving you information. You're debating on, do I let this person keep talking and give me more information so I can use it? Or do I cut them off and risk like not getting the information that I want?
Especially early on in the call. Exactly.
Okay, very good. So the way I see it, number one, you have to like you need a middle ground. You don't want them going on tangents because then that's just going to keep happening and it's going to get more difficult for you to challenge as the call goes. At the same time, you also don't want to just like cut them off every second, right? So this is why I think, this is how I think, and this is what I tell my closers as well, is once you get what you need, then you can interject because you know where you want to take the conversation. You know what you want to figure out from the prospect. So once you get exactly what the prospect gave you and it's what you were looking for, boom, okay, that's what I need. Let's just like interject real quick. Yeah. And then lead the conversation and then continue asking the questions because you're going to get the answers anyways. I've noticed when they give you everything, they give you all the answers that you've wanted, and you didn't really ask any questions, it kind of like takes the questions away from you. And then it's like it's not really a dialogue. It's just like a dead end conversation because they just word vomited on you. And then you're kind of just like sitting there and you're like, all right, well, what do I probe on now? What do I ask here? They just gave me all these different things. And then you get confused and then you get in your own head. Yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
the where I like to take it is once you got what you need, interject, ask your question, you'll get the answer, and then you're good. Because if you let them talk and talk and talk, you'll be happy in the beginning because they're giving you a lot of stuff, but as the call goes on, you'll be like, oh fuck, now they're giving me too much. I'm just sitting there and I'm kind of just like listening and not really doing anything with it. So
So
find that middle ground and like be comfortable with cutting them off too.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not a bad thing to do that.
I'm hearing also that, and it makes total sense. I think something that people struggle with, myself included, sometimes like you let somebody ramble, you get a bunch of great information, but then you you either lose control or you stop steering, and then that's the worst place to be as a closer. Like you have no
100%.
control, and the conversation is going all over the place.
Yeah, you're
You're better off
lost.
exactly interjecting and
Hmm.
continuing to lead that conversation because you know exactly where it has to go.
Yeah.
So
The
that
last
makes
thing you want
sense.
to feel is that like they gave you all this and you're kind of just sitting there. You're like, I have all this information and like now I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which
it's like,
question do I ask? What do I like focus on? Just go
right,
for it.
right.
Yeah.
And then like since you didn't ask a question on something they said, then you're gonna have to go back later and ask them that question. It's like, who wants to do that?
Thank you. Yeah. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
and the other
Perfect. Thank
thing
you.
that I'd say is they're only going to tell you what they are currently aware of, as well as only things that make them look good. So if you're not the expert and you don't know why you're asking the questions, you'll put yourself in a disadvantage because you'll buy into their belief system, even if that belief system itself is what's holding them back from getting what they want. Right? Like as an example,
Sure.
if I'm talking to a closer and he gets on a call with me and he says, I close at 40%. I close at 40%, but I'm only making 10K a month. There's so much to that conversation that if I'm not an expert, I can't go deeper. I'll put him in the category of great closer. He's already making good money. That's what he's telling me, right? But I don't understand all the context. I don't understand that he's getting a bunch of deals on payment plans. I don't understand that he's only taking 5 calls a week, right? There's so many things that I don't understand. If I'm not willing to go there and uncover what's under the hood, then I'm just going to live in this world where this guy's God's gift to closing, even if that's not true.
Yeah, so you're saying when they continue to speak and give you so much information, there's actually a lot of stuff that they're not telling you
Yeah,
as well.
100%. They're only
Which,
going to tell you things that make them look good, just like all of us
yeah,
do.
yeah.
That's natural. It's going to be
That's
rare
a
that
good
they
point.
come and just put it all on a silver platter and they're like, hey, here are all my pain points, like close me. That's typically not going to happen.
What I've also noticed is when we let them talk, and we don't cut them off when we need to, they'll start justifying what they say. So for example, like let's say your prospect is getting into the limiting beliefs and they're explaining what's held them back, etc. And if you kind of just sit there and let them talk and talk and talk, they'll start to then like justify what they say. So when they start to do that, well, you now have to not only challenge them on the limiting belief, but you also have to challenge them on justifying what they said. So now there's like two things to do, and that just becomes more difficult than it needs to be. So when you give people time to talk and think like too much, then they also have time to think about what they said, and then they'll defend it. And the more they defend it, like the more you have to challenge it. And the more you have to challenge it, it's a back and forth cycle that you shouldn't let yourself get to that point.
Yeah. So all around, I'm just going to be way more proactive and like go for it. Like
You have
don't
to.
just let them take everything.
You have to
There's a
lead.
lot of negatives.
You have to lead. They're not the leaders in this call. If they were, they would have already done what they said they were going to do years ago. So like, you know where you want to take the call. You know exactly where you want it to be. You know what questions you want to ask. So like, treat it that way. Cool. I got what I need. Boom. On to the next. So on and so forth.
With 4 minutes left, let's get into some takeaways from the call. What do we have, everybody?
Challenge stuff when it comes up instead of waiting and it's past.
Unpack buzzwords when it comes to like financial freedom and like get the real meaning behind what does that buzzword, I guess, mean for them, like getting the additional context, and as well time frames are very important when it comes to building leverage.
Dig into
Yeah,
what
like-
financial freedom actually means.
Identity
think
questions
something's-
are always bigger than circumstantial, more important rather than circumstantial questions.
Say that again, Sam?
Identity questions are always better than circumstantial questions.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Get into limiting beliefs fast and don't let them ramble without not knowing where to go if they get too much information.
Yeah, only ask a question if you know the answer you're trying to get from the question you're asking. Otherwise, you're just wasting time.
Thank you. Hi, and Tristan, by the way.
Totally.
Learned a lot. Like,
Shout out to you, bro. Stepping up to the plate, getting your call reviewed in front of 100 people. Takes balls to do that, dude.
my main goal was just to learn how to become more efficient. I feel like, just with reviewing 15 minutes of the call, like I already know my first three things I need to do, which is, just having the actual ear to be able to pick up on words and what to go after so that I don't have to, make up for the ground that I missed, later in the call. So
Yeah, dude, you leveled up more than anyone in this call here.
yeah, absolutely.
Good job. Are you gonna do some final questions? Ask away.
Good question. You said once you get what you need, you can interject. Could you like elaborate just a little bit on the things you listen for?
Sure. What does financial freedom mean to you? Financial freedom to me means this, 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 and that. Cool. I got what I need from financial freedom. I don't need to hear anything else. Awesome. Where do you feel like you lack that financial freedom? Well, things have been this way, this way, this way. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do that. Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that. Oh, last week, I wanted to buy something for my girlfriend and I had to check my bank account before I did. And I realized I couldn't do it. Well, what went through your mind when you did that? Oh man, it was just really frustrating. I don't know. How long has it been that way for? This long time frame. So it's like, we're sharp, we're quick. Yeah. Because as soon as we kind of just sit there, that's when they can start rambling and going on tangents and explaining. So you're only able to do this if you know what you need, if you know where you want to take the conversation. If you do, based on like however many calls you've taken and you see like a constant pattern with where the call goes, you will know, okay, well, here's what's relevant for me to understand. Here's what's not relevant. Here's what moves the conversation forward. Here's what doesn't. So as soon as we hear something that doesn't move the conversation forward, well, let's just like interject. Let's not let that happen, because that could be them justifying something, defending themselves. That's what this kid did a lot, the prospect. Yeah. That's all he did, is just justify. So if we don't allow that to happen in the very beginning, it shouldn't be happening throughout the call. So it's just disciplining bad behavior. That's all it is. You notice bad behavior, you discipline it, right? That's all it is.
Thank you.
You have to be just like socially aware to like understand that, right?
We treat him like an animal a little bit.
What was that?
We're treating him like a dog almost.
I mean, I hate to say it, but like, yeah, in a way, it's like if the dog's barking, like you have to zap them with the shock collar so they don't bark again, you know? But that's all it is though, because they come into the call with like an incorrect way of thinking and we have to fix it. And if not, it's going to keep happening and objections and nobody likes that. So there you go. Jake, Braden, Keegan.
Hello.
Let's go.
One thing that I noticed in the call, I just don't know, I wanted to ask you if you'd ever challenge it, is it just ticked something in my head when he said it, but he said he's been saving. Now, like for me, that I instantly just think scarce, especially in the UK. It's all I ever did when I was younger myself. Would you challenge that, or would you get more into behaviors, or could you take a turn into internal there as well? Could you just get straight to it?
If anything, what caught more of my attention is when he said safety net than saving. Yeah. Because it's like, why would you need a safety net? Right? What are we saving for? Right? And saving 1K a month, like, I mean, how much do we have saved?
Yeah.
Like
Not a lot.
like 3K. How long have we been saving for? I don't know, 2 years. Oh shit. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can call it out. You can call anything out if it sounds right to you. Yeah. Like see where it goes. Try it out on your next call and let me know, like, you know, if it went somewhere.
Yeah. Because I think I'm good at picking up on the limiting language, but when people use phrases like safety net and oh, it's all I've ever known, I don't catch that yet. But I know you do, so I'm trying to get into that whole thing. So
get comfortable, just get creative with it, bro. Like do things that you've never done before and see where it leads you. Like that's how you ultimately learn. Like the best way I learned is just like by trying different things out on my calls. Some of them land, some of them don't. It's the only way you find out.
Yeah. Cool.
You know?
Appreciate it.
No worries.
I have a question.
Hit me.
So, you know, when you said that obviously the prospect only tells you things that make them look good, and obviously you're trying to dig deeper, and try to find the true, you know, limiting beliefs and, you know, things like that. How I find sometimes when I'm digging deeper, I'm just find myself in like a question trap, is what I call it. I'm asking questions and it just gets a bit like you can see them getting standoffish from just me asking questions repetitively, I guess you could say, trying to dig deeper. How do I avoid that?
Okay. First off, with context, like I would have to see what those questions are. Typically prospects get standoffish when they can tell that you're in a process, that you're in a framework, that you're in a script. Maybe you're asking surface level questions that like a lot of closers typically ask. So they'll immediately associate you with like just like a sleazy sales rep. That could be why, right? Maybe some of them have already been on sales calls before and they kind of know how this goes. And when they feel like, all right, this is just another sales call, that's where they could close off and be standoffish. Or maybe you're being too confrontational with the questions that you're asking right away. And it's like, might be too soon. Like a lot of the times, you have to like ease your way into these uncomfortable questions. You don't just like straight away just start slapping them.
Yeah.
You get me? So it could be like a lot of different reasons. Just be aware, like watch your calls back, see when they got standoffish, and then like start like recognizing a pattern. Oh, well, I noticed from this call, this happened because I asked this question. From this call, it happened because I asked this question. And if you see like a pattern happening, then just like stop doing it and just try something else. That's like the best advice I could give you with that context. Yeah. No worries.
I have one more question. So when you are trying to get like a time frame for like leverage to understand, you know, what they've tried, how long they've even wanted to achieve a goal that they had, and they kind of give you an answer to protect themselves and, you know, make it seem like their ego's intact still. When you're asking them a question and they're, you know, I just, you know, found out about this a couple months ago, or, you know, I've been wanting to achieve this for, you know, like the last 2 months. I just realized it last month. When you get to the end of the call and they're like, well, I'd like to figure it out on my own, or, well, I
Mhm.
just met you. How would you go about like taking the angle of challenging them on like if number one, their time frame's actually accurate,
Mhm.
it's congruent to where they want to be? Because
Mhm.
obviously no one wakes up one day and want to achieve 20K.
Yeah.
They haven't even thought about it for the
Yeah.
last. So I'm
Right.
questioning how you would avoid like the objection of like, well, I just met you this like literally an hour ago. I'm not going to make a decision because number one, I've only known about this for a couple months and I'd want to give it a shot on my own, which is I feel like is my most common objection.
So what I would rather you focus on instead of like, how do I handle that objection is how do I prevent it from happening? Because if you I mean, let me just ask anyone here, like, if you had the option to close your prospects without having to handle objections for 30 minutes, like, would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 times, right? Nobody would say, I would rather handle objections for 10 or 20 or 30 minutes. So why don't we just reverse engineer that? Like, let's focus on how we can prevent that from happening. Yeah. Now you're never get objections. I get objections too. And I, try to do the best discovery I can, but it'll at least be so much easier handling it if your discovery is done right. So for example, like let's just go on time frames since that's what you're asking. If a prospect is giving you a very short time frame, number one, don't believe it because it's not true. Right? It's like a fat person telling you, "Well, I just saw you guys online last month." But we both know he's been fat for a hell of a lot longer than 1 month, right? So instead of like asking those questions, like how long have you seen us for, or how long you've been following us, or how long have you been wanting to do TikTok shop? Well, what people can't argue and what people can't deflect is their current situation, like how long they've been fat, how long they haven't had financial freedom, how long they've been stressed or worried. That can give us a much longer time frame. So I like to focus on their current situation. And when we do, well, number one, we have a lot more leverage. We have a longer time frame. It's just so much easier to challenge that. And then we don't have to like challenge them off of like a 1 month time frame or a 2 month time frame or a 3 month time frame. We still can, but it's harder to do that. So let's not make it harder when it doesn't need to be.
I appreciate it.
No worries. Let's do 2 more questions. And I gotta bounce.
Okay, yeah, I had a question because I know everybody's talking about in that opening tangent, that they're recognizing like the safety net or, he felt the need to save and whatnot. That's something I'm trying to get better at is like unpacking more efficiently. What I noticed there is he said like, I need to check my bank account before I spend. Is it okay if you go and you unpack on that first?
Absolutely.
Get it, or would it be more productive to go into the safety net and why he feels like he needs to have that?
When there's something that stands out to you, call it out. Like the bank account part, like that stood out to me. So what I would ask is like, well, how often do you check your bank account? The other might say, I check it all the time, or I never check it. You could say anything with that. Well, if they don't check it at all, that's because they're uncomfortable looking at like the small balance in their account. If they check it all the time, that's because, well, it's uncomfortable, seeing the small balance in their bank account.
Right.
Right. So it's like, when was the last time that happened? Yesterday, I was buying something. Okay. And like, what kind of went through your mind when you realized like, it's just not enough? When you open up your Chase account and you saw $500 sitting in there, like, how did that sit with you? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. Like whatever it is that you probe on, you can do whatever you want. You can take it in a million different directions. There's no like one way to do it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So don't overthink it. Just whatever stands out to you, whatever you're like, okay, there's something could be here. Do something with it and see where it takes you.
Got it. Yeah, thank you. That was helpful.
No worries. Last question. Let's do it.
Yeah, so mine's just based on biz op. So I'm getting people who come in, they're either like elderly and they're on fixed income, or people trying to escape like their 9 to 5. I wanted to ask, like, how would you, I guess, transition for them to like be more resourceful and finding other ways to like kind of change where they are right now?
What does resourceful mean?
Like resourceful, like finding like different ways to get the money. Like could be funding, that could be selling, ask for loans, that type of thing.
Are you saying like if they genuinely like don't have the money?
Like if they're fixed income, so fixed income could be like 1,000 per month from the state. but they have like credit, something that's not pushy.
I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. Like you can make an in-house payment plan with them. You could, I don't know, finance them like with a third-party lender, which is pretty big in the space. A lot of people do that for people that don't have a lot of money. Like talk with your offer owner, see like what options you have to do it that way. You can have them apply for credit cards. I've done that. You can have them take out loans. I've done that. You can have them sell stuff. I've done that as well. Like however resourceful people are willing to get, like they'll move mountains to find the money, no matter what. You know, if even though that means if they have to get a second job or a third job, whatever it is, like they will make it work if they feel that it's worth doing so.
Okay. But how would you like go about it if they're like elderly? Let's say.
It's kind of a loaded question. There's like a million different ways you can go about it. I would like just need context to tell you. I wouldn't be able to just like you know, because I don't know.
Yeah. What context?
You know? What's that?
I said what type of context, or should I just send you a message on this go?
Like whatever the call is, I'd have to see the call, and then that's how I'd best point you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Let's just do one more question. I'm feeling nice today.
I had one on my mind for quite a bit because we weren't able to like listen to the ending of the call. What was the reason that this guy didn't close, and what, to your understanding, would be the biggest reason why he didn't close in the end?
I'll let Braden answer this one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, he just didn't feel ready to make the commitment, which I mean, I feel like probably would be the obvious objection that you would get just from my lack of, you know, hitting on the right points, I guess, because almost every time he answered my question, he would justify himself, you know, why he's in the position he is in, you know, and why he's not ready to, you know, have the nuts to actually, you know, go in a different direction. So that was pretty much it. Like he had the money, wasn't logistical. He just he let the fear overcome him, and it was because I didn't, you know, challenge him on that in the beginning.
Yeah, very well said. All right, boys. Hope you found this helpful.
Quickly before you go,
yeah.
I just wanted to ask you, like, what is it like for yourself, like being one of the most successful coaches in the space and like being as successful as you are?
I hate it, dude. I don't want any of it. Get me out of here. Okay. I'm blessed. I'm very grateful.
I'm his student, by the way. I'm one of the students. Just to let everyone know.
It's like my mom coming in here and she's like, "Oh, sweetie, did you eat your breakfast today?" I'm like, "Mom, get out of here." All right. With that being said, let's call it here, boys. Good stuff. Shout out to everyone that pulled up. Braden, shout out to you.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys. Peace out.
Later, boys.